is Shannon. Thank you so much for joining me today for this Meditative Yin practice, which is themed around spring. I'm recording this today on the spring equinox. It is also the start of Aries season. So before each pose, I will be reading a spring/Aries season themed affirmation. The sequence that I chose is also for spring. It is the gallbladder and liver meridians, which are associated with spring. And these meridians run on the inside and the outside of our legs, also the sides of our bodies. So anytime we're doing hip openers or twists or side bends, we are stimulating these meridians. So I have my 2 blocks, my bolster. Feel free to get pillows, blankets, whatever you like to use for your yin practice. And I will give us options for the props before each pose, and then I will stay silent in the pose so we can all enjoy the beautiful stillness of yin. So we'll start today on our backs. Let's take a long body stretch. And we'll place one hand on our belly and one on our heart, letting our toes fall out and completely relaxing. Softening all of our muscles. Taking this moment to notice how we're feeling today. And this new energy. Now we'll take a full deep breath in through our nose. And a soft sigh out. So our first pose is going to be supported bridge. So find one of your blocks or maybe get a blanket. We're going to place it under our bottom, so on our sacrum. And your feet can be flat on the mat with your knees up. You could have your knees together. You could have your knees splaying out with your feet, bottoms of your feet together. Or you could straighten your legs with your toes falling out. Arms can be by your side. You can open up your arms to the side, or you could have your arms overhead. And our first affirmation is, I honor the balance of light and dark, both in nature and myself. I honor the balance of light and dark, both in nature and myself. Now let's slowly remove our block, placing our bottom flat on the mat. We'll take a moment here to pause and breathe. Now we'll take our time. We're going to turn on our stomachs with our elbows under our shoulders to come into Sphinx pose. So with this pose, we're working on getting this extension in our low back. So we really want to relax our bellies down. And if you have any discomfort in your low back, you can always move your arms a little bit forward, which will decrease the arch in your back. And we want to keep either our head in neutral, or we can flex our head down and let it relax, or you could even use a block for your forehead. And our next affirmation is, I am a limitless spiritual being having a human experience. I am a limitless spiritual being having a human experience. Now we have about 1 more minute in the pose. You can stay like this in Sphinx, or if you'd like, you can bring your hands to the corner of the mat, straightening your elbows to come into seal pose. They don't have to be all the way straight, but if you have any pain, you go back down to Sphinx. Now we're going to slowly lower all the way down, turning your head to the side and completely relaxing. Now let's slowly make our way into tabletop pose with our hands under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Let's find a little bit of movement here. And our next pose is going to be swan pose, or otherwise known as pigeon in yang yoga. In yin, it's called swan. So we'll start with our right leg coming forward. So bringing your right knee towards your hand, left foot is towards your left hand, and you can have as much bend as you'd like in your knee. So with this pose, if you'd like, you can put some support under your hip or your left hip because it may be coming up, or it can be up in space. It does not have to be touching the mat. You can stay up on your hands. You could come on your forearms. You could have your hands or your forearms on blocks, or you could come all the way down with your forehead either on the mat or on your stacked hands. I plant my dreams with trust and nurture them with patience. I plant my dreams with trust and nurture them with patience. Now let's very slowly and carefully make our way back to tabletop. And taking a little pause, taking a few breaths. Maybe you want to move your hips a little right and left. And then we will go into swan with our left leg forward. So this side may feel a little bit different. So always honor each side of your body. I give myself permission to bloom at my own pace. I give myself permission to bloom at my own pace. let's very slowly make our way back to tabletop. Taking our pause. And maybe finding a little movement in our hips once again. Now our next pose is going to be shoelace pose. So with this pose, we're bending our knees. We're going to start with our right leg on the bottom. So our foot is towards our left hip, and then our left leg comes on top. Now, if this is difficult, a lot of times sitting on a block or folding up a blanket can make it a little easier to get into the pose. You could also put a block or a blanket under your knees. Shouldn't have any pain, and both of your sit bones should be on whatever surface you're on, so you're not leaning one way or the other. Now with this pose, we're going to be folding forward. So you could have blocks on your knees for your forehead, or you could have blocks for your arms. And with all of these poses, you don't have to use any props if you don't feel the need to. Everything I seek is already within me, waiting to grow. Everything I seek is already within me, waiting to grow. Now let's very slowly make our way up, placing our hands behind us as we unwind, placing our feet flat, taking a little pause. Now we'll go into shoelace on the other side. So this time our left leg is on the bottom, our right leg is on top. And again, this may feel different, so you may have to use your props a little bit differently than the other side. I follow my heart, creating the life I love. I follow my heart, creating the life I love. Now let's very slowly come up, unwinding our legs, placing our feet flat, taking our little pause. Now we're going to turn to the long edge of the mat. We're going to go into straddle pose, so our legs are out. Now you can put something under your knees if you'd like. If this is too much with your legs on the mat, you could put a blanket, pillows, or a towel. You could also sit on a blanket or a towel if you want your bottom a little higher. We're going to start going in the middle, then we're going to do the right and the left each time for 3 minutes. Another nice thing to do, if you'd like, is have your bolster or pillow to put on your legs or in front of you as we do the poses. So you decide. You could also use a block for your arms, for your head, or 2 blocks for your arms. So we'll start by folding forward. I embrace balance and harmony in all areas of my life. I embrace balance and harmony in all areas of my life. And we'll very slowly press our way up, pausing at the top. Now we're going to go to the right over our right leg. I'm going to use my bolster. If you use your bolster, you can either stack your arms or you can turn your head to the side. I allow myself to shed the old and rise anew. I allow myself to shed the old and arise anew. Now let's very slowly make our way up, pausing in center. And we'll go to the left. I ignite my passions and fearlessly pursue my dreams. I ignite my passions and fearlessly pursue my dreams. Now we'll very slowly press up, pausing in center. And then we're going to take our time coming down to our backs. Our next pose is going to be banana pose. So we'll start with our knees bent and pick up our bottom and move it to the left side of the mat. We're going to bring our legs to the right. You can keep your legs next to each other, or you can cross your ankles. And then you can kind of shimmy your shoulders to the right. So our arms are going to come over our head to the right. So we're making this long banana shape to the right. I like to cradle my left hand and my right wrist. And we want to make sure that we stay flat on the mat so we're not rolling to the right. And our next affirmation is, I open myself to the energy of new beginnings, trusting the unfolding of the season. I open myself to the energy of new beginnings, trusting the unfolding of the season. Let's take our time unwinding. We can bring our feet flat and bring our bottom back to the middle of the mat so our spine is in neutral. Now we'll pick up our bottom and move it to the right side of the mat. with our legs coming to the left and our arms overhead coming to the left. I am planting seeds of intention and nurturing them with love and action. I am planting seeds of intention and nurturing them with love and action. Now let's very slowly make our way back to the center of the mat. And taking our pause and breathing. And our last pose before Shavasana is going to be a reclined twist. So I always say you can do whatever version of a reclined twist you'd like. We're going to be bringing our knees to the right first and then the left. So I'm going to take my left leg over my right today and just let my knees gently fall to the right. And if you're trying it this way, you can feel free to put a block, a pillow, or a blanket under your legs, or they can hang in space if you don't have any pain anywhere. I release the old and welcome the new with gratitude. I release the old and welcome the new with gratitude. Now your arms can be to the side or overhead, and you can be looking up or you can look to the left. Now we'll very slowly release back to center, placing our feet flat, taking a few breaths. And maybe you want to move your knees a little right and left before we go to the other side. So I'm going to be crossing my right leg over my left and letting my knees fall left. I choose to bring passion, energy, and joy into my daily life. I choose to bring passion, energy, and joy into my daily life. Now let's slowly return back to our backs. Taking a couple breaths. And then we'll take one knee at a time in our hands, gently squeezing them towards our chest. And let's do a few circles with our knees. And circles the other way. Now we'll take our time making our way into final Shavasana, which is a very important pose to integrate our practice. So really give yourself this time to relax. I am a magnet for success, joy, and new opportunities. I am a magnet for success, joy, and new opportunities. we'll start to deepen our breath, finding some movement in our fingers and toes. Maybe you want to take one final long body stretch, and then we'll gently make our way back to an easy seated pose. Let's place our hands on our knees, sitting up nice and straight, relaxing our face and our shoulders, maybe shutting your eyes, taking a moment to notice how you feel. And we'll take one final deep grounding breath. So breathing in deeply through your nose and a gentle exhale out. Let's bring our hands to heart center, bowing our heads, giving ourselves gratitude for showing up today to practice and come home to ourselves. The light in me honors the light in you, and together here now and always, we are one. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this practice with the affirmations. I'd love to know how you feel, how you like this type of class, and I really appreciate you liking the video and of course subscribing to the channel. So I hope you have a beautiful spring season, and I hope to see you again soon.